YouTube friends, what is going on? We are back with a brand new video. Today I am reviewing the Spotlight SE from Amaran. Amaran/Aperture. Same company, basically. But I wanted to review this unit specifically because Spotlight attachments are extremely valuable. If you haven't been able to use a Spotlight attachment, essentially what it does is it mimics older Spotlight mounts like a Source 4, an old Jolico type of light, where you can narrow down the beam, you can cut the beam, and depending on what lens you have, right? So for instance, today we are reviewing the 19-degree lens. Depending on what lens you're using, it could be a narrow beam when it's full flood. It could be a more expanded beam if you have a 36-degree versus a 26, again, versus a 19. Spotlight mounts are great because it gets you the type of light that you're looking for, right? So what I mean by that, do you want something that's rounded? Do you want a slash of light? Do you want to use Gobos attachments to be able to put a pattern on, say, a wall? Maybe you have some branches coming out through a side window, the shadows of the branches, and you want to be able to accentuate those branches a little bit further more, right? Gobos attachments are great for that type of scenario. Along with that, say you want just a very, very narrow beam of light that you want to be able to bounce into a wall or a 4x4 frame or a 6x6 frame, and you just want, that beam of light to be able to control and bounce back. Because with reflector dishes and Fresnels, even though they're great at what they do, sometimes the light spill is too much and you just want enough light, and that's where the Spotlight attachments come in very, very handy. Let's jump straight into my first pro when it comes to the Spotlight SE attachment and Spotlight attachments in general, is it gives you a very narrow beam angle to control. Now, why is a narrow beam angle useful? Well, let's just say, for instance, you're shooting some interview, maybe you're shooting a scene with 2 people talking or 5 people talking. It could be like a dinner scene or a morning coffee scene, and you want to be able to add an accent to the back wall. And you can do that with Fresnels and barn doors and things like that. But the Spotlight attachment allows you to cut the beam exactly where you want, right? The width of the beam as well as the height of the beam. You can also control the focus of the beam, right? So you want something to be a little bit more in focus, a little bit more cutty, more edgy, right? Really, really sharp. With Spotlight attachments, you can do that. Compared to, say, like Fresnels and barn doors, you can only cut the light where you want it. You can't control the actual focus of the beam. And my second pro for the SE attachment from Amaran, it does come in a bundle. They have 2 versions. You can just get the Spotlight attachment by itself, or you can get it with the bundle. So I chose to go with the bundle, and I believe at the time of the release, they only allowed you to purchase the bundle. You can't purchase the lens by itself. October 2023 is the potential release date where you can just buy the lens, Spotlight lens itself. But anyways, for the package, you have 15 attachments to choose from. I went through all of them, and for me, these 5 stood out to me as far as the ones that I would use probably most often and the ones that are my favorite. Now, my third pro for the Spotlight SE attachment is that it attaches directly to your fixture, right? This is built specifically for the 150C and the 300C Amaran. Technically, it is a bones mount, so you should be able to put it on any light with the bones mount. However, I think because of the light engine of the 300C and the 150C, the Spotlight attachment has been built mechanically and physically to fit the temperature requirements of the 150 and 300C. So one of the pros about having the Spotlight SE attached directly to the fixture itself is it makes the setup a little bit more compact, right? You have a smaller footprint. Now, that being said, it is going to add weight to the front of the fixture, right, of your 300C or your 150C. So, same thing applies if you have a heavy camera build that's too front heavy, that's too back heavy, right? You're gonna need something sturdy enough to balance out all the weight. So I would recommend using at least, at minimum, a C stand when you're using the SE mount with your 300C or 150C. before I move onto the cons, let's talk about what you get with the actual SE mounts package, right? So for starters, you get the stupid foam case, which I'm not a fan of. If you watch my 300C video, I go on a rant about that. I don't like it. And for some reason, I just saw the other day that if you buy the SE spotlight attachment now, they're actually putting it in like a padded case, right? So if you ever use like a 60X or those like smaller aperture lights, they come in that kind of tiny travel padded case. Now they're shipping it with that. I ended up having to buy it separately because there wasn't any other option at the time. So that sucks. But for you, probably doesn't suck because now you're getting the actual padded case. But if you had bought it previously, it comes in a foam case, right? Like the 300C and the 150C, same material. You get the Spotlight SE attachment. You get 15 gobos, as well as the gobo holder. Moving on to the cons, right? I only really have 2 cons when it comes to the Spotlight SE mount. The first one is when you're focusing the beam, the end attachment, it gets kind of finicky. It gets stuck a lot of times, right? You have to basically hold it in the middle, so that way there's no friction from the circumference of the end lens, and that way you can move it back and forth, right? Because if you think about it, it's the whole thing is built. It's built solid, right? It's like some kind of ceramic or something. But when you're moving the lens back and forth, it's basically like metal on metal, right? So there's a lot of friction. You have to find the little middle area where there's no like air or pressure, and then you can move the lens freely, right? So not a huge con, but it is very annoying when you're trying to just adjust something and you have to like push it, right? Because then you have to sort of like, it's like adjusting, if you ever balance the Movi, it's the same thing where you have to just be really, you have to go micro movements. So that for me is a con. Number 2 is in regards to the actual focusing barrel. When you lock in the barrel, it does adjust the barrel like ever so slightly. But again, when you're focusing the beam, even one little adjustment will throw off the focus. You know, maybe the side of the barrel is in focus and now the middle is out of focus, where when you had it was right in focus. So that is a bit annoying. Again, it's not a deal breaker by any means, but it is a annoying con about this Spotlight SE attachment. Recommendations: would I recommend the Spotlight SE attachment? I would. If you have a 150C or a 300C, I would say that this, compared to the aperture spotlight mount, which you can use. I used it in the past on my last feature film that I was doing, just because there wasn't the SE mount available. So I rented the 26 degree lens from Aperture, and that thing is great. It's built rock solid. I do prefer the mechanics of that over the SE mount, just because again, the SE is more for your prosumer level, and so because of that, the build quality is similar to that, right? Like the beam focus, cutting the beams on the aperture spotlight mount is better. Just gonna say that it's better, and so it's a better user experience. But for the price and for the smaller footprint, for the gobo attachments you're getting, I think for $335, and you're also getting the padded case now. I'm just gonna rant on that. I'm salty about it. Sorry guys, I'm salty about it. You know, for $335, you're getting a really, really great attachment that's gonna have so much mileage for you over the years. All right, that is it for me, friends. If you liked the video, please leave it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as always, just so you are notified of new content coming out. If you haven't followed my podcast, which I've had for the last couple years, please follow the podcast. Link down below. That is more like bite-sized episodes. They're like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, sometimes 12 minutes, right? Enough that's easily digestible. And that's where I talk more on the business side, more on the like structure, philosophy, how to be a working cinematographer, right? I've had a lot of great feedback on these past 2 years, going on 3 years that I've had the podcast, and it's helped out a lot of people when it comes to, again, being an owner operator, being a working cinematographer. Other than that, friends, remember always that you have an opportunity to create your experience and to write and tell your own story. My name is David Lee, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel.
What's up, everybody? So I already captured, so
Day 4 of the indie movie sync.
We're doing the YouTube.
Let me show you around. Wipe transition, wipe transition. Damn it. Wait. Wipe.